The Sarpa is basically a new gunblade that you can either buy with 175 platinum or for 20,000 credits plus a little bit more, because you do have to build it, so it's 20,000 on top of that to build it, and a set of AK stilettos. But if you don't use them and you built them anyway, you can always put them into this, because gunblades tend to be useful. 3,300 cryotic, 1,000 plastids and 2 control modules, you can build this thing. But the big question here is, how does it hold up next to the Redeemer, which is the only gunblade at the moment and is a hell of a good melee weapon? Well, let's just put it this way. It's better in every single way. Maybe. Remembering, this is a shotgun. This isn't. So it could be good, it might be completely rubbish. Find out when we use it. But it's actually dealing a lot more damage. It's got better spin attacks, but unfortunately has exactly the same status and crit as the normal one, though it does have an attack speed which is quicker than the Redeemer, which means this thing could be really useful. And, oh, it does in fact come with a D polarity. And of course the stance for this, which I don't have, so I'll have to just throw High Noon in here for now, is called, is it Bullet Blade? Yes, Bullet Blade. And the new stance, it's obtainable from sabotage missions in the Orokin Void, if you do want to go for that. I will be trying to get that before this video is over though. Considering this thing has very low crit and very low status, a status build isn't going to work. A crit build isn't going to work, so Blood Rush, Weeping Wounds, pretty useless. Body count will still work because it increases the combo counter time, so you can increase that combo number and deal more damage that way. But taking it on higher levels, you will suffer fairly much. Just simply down to the fact that it's physical damage, and the solution there is just take the Kavat with that mod on that strips armor off enemies, then it's still a useful weapon. Comparing it more to the Redeemer, well, the Redeemer shoots something like 10 pellets, this shoots 5? Was it 5 or 6? I can't remember offhand now. But it shoots almost twice as many pellets, meaning at close range, the Redeemer is just going to annihilate, and at mid-range, they'll kind of settle into a nice little zone between the two. So, as a melee weapon, this thing is much better than the Redeemer is. But as a gunblade, at medium to long range, they both suck anyway, so that doesn't really matter at all. But it's just the fact the Redeemer fires more rounds, kind of evens them out when it comes to the fact this does more damage than the Redeemer, but the Redeemer shoots more rounds, so choosing between the two is pretty hard to do, and I've been playing with it for a few days and I like it, but the fact that the rounds fired are silent from a gun still makes no sense to me, but apparently this is something the Redeemer usually does as well, which I didn't know. Meaning this thing is good to have on stealth missions as a melee. Not only that, but it has unlimited ammo, which means if you do run out of ammo in your primary and your secondary, you still have this to fall back on to give you a bit of range. Of course, with the glaive being a thing, that also has range, and it's much more accurate at range than this. And I like the Redeemer a lot. I really wanted to like this weapon. I do like this weapon, what am I on about? But it just, there's something about the range on it that was kind of a letdown. But I think that just comes down to how many pellets it shoots, despite the fact it was still fun. I only took it off recently because I was playing with Titania and her melee weapon runs off melee stats, so I was trying a weapon with different, like, melee combos. But probably the biggest pain in the butt for this whole weapon isn't any of the downsides. I mean, it's a good weapon. I liked using this a lot. I don't think I'll be retiring my Helio Core until the Cyanoid turns up, depending on what perks that's given. Seen some bad ones to it actually, and we'll see what happens when that comes out. But it's still going to be really useful for things like spy missions or stealthing through missions where normal melee weapons just don't have that little bit of range as they start to turn around, which makes it really useful. To me, the big problem with this was the stance, and what really annoyed me more than anything else, I got the stance as I finished the video.